Hey guys, Stitching May here, and I'm doing a Tuesday off the grid video. It's kind of hard for me to be able to do Friday off the grid videos, and I enjoy seeing them and wanted to take part. So I talked to Miss Caroline, and she said it was fine for me to do off the grid videos any day. So this was approved by our spokesperson. But in all seriousness, it is a random Tuesday. My boy is off at work. Or, I'm sorry, my boy is off at school. That is his work. And my husband is off with one of his friends doing whatever they do. It is pouring down rain. And I decided that I was going to do a Stitch With Me video. My husband did ask that I work on Starry Night for my video. So that's what I'll be working on. I did notice as I quickly started uploading this video that it said that chat would now be available in the replay, which is awesome. I'm going to take credit for that because last week or 2 weeks ago when I did my last video, I sent a feedback to YouTube saying that they needed to make this an option. And now here it is. There is an option for the video, the chat to be replayed on the videos. But just to make sure it works, I'm still going to read the comments as I go, just in case it doesn't work later. And Deb from Wilson says hi from Australia. It's 1 a.m. here. And Magdalene Nicole say hi. Glad I have not missed your Sal. Stitch along. So I am trying to do some different times so that other people can get in on the fun. A lot of people say that they don't get caught in the videos with the, when it's more convenient Eastern time. So I'm not going to lie. I am in my pajamas stitching with you guys this morning because it's my off day. This is my weekend. Tuesday's my Sunday. So here we go. So I am starting on Starry Night. I do have some questions that if the chat doesn't keep going, that I can, kind of do those instead. We'll see. I've got, I didn't make up the questions. I stole some random questions, I guess would be the technical word. I guess I technically stole them from random different tags along the internet. So we'll see how the chat goes. As long as I can keep the chat going. Sometimes it's kind of awkward to, I don't know, the live videos are easier to set up. But at the same time, I kind of run out of things to say. And I cannot thread my needle this morning. I like that bent needle. I don't know if you can tell that it's bent, but it's a little bit bent. My end was frayed, so let me trim that off and try again. Instead of Stitch With Me video, this will be Thread My Needle With Me video. So it turns out that my son had fifth disease. Streaming from Singapore, and it's 10:12 p.m. Wow, so I am hitting some different time zones for sure. That's cool. I'm glad that it is convenient for some other people other than just me. I mentioned in my last update video that my son had a fever and that we didn't really know where the fever had originated from. And then that, sorry, looking for a marker here. And then that he'd gotten better and that we didn't know what was going on. Well, he then had some random cold-like symptoms. Didn't think a lot about it. No fever with the cold-like symptoms. And then about 2 days later, he popped out with this horrible red rash. I took a picture and sent it to my husband, who was at work. And he showed it to one of the physicians that he works with. And sure enough, they diagnosed him via phone with Fifth's disease, which is a very, very common childhood illness. Essentially, you have a fever and mild cold-like symptoms, and then you get a rash. The hard part is that usually you aren't contagious by the time that you get the rash. You are most contagious just before the fever and with the fever. So a lot of children don't know they have it, or children parents don't know they have it, so it spreads like wildfire through the schools. And sure enough, a kid before him had it and a kid after him had it. So, but he was fine. He just looked like he was sunburned. I'm going to try to stitch and talk. I don't know if Starry Night's going to be the best one to do this with. But he is much better now. No fever, no rash, no longer looks sunburned. We had gotten approved to go back to school. And the rash is one of those rashes that gets worse before it gets better. And they actually called us up to see him one day because he had this horrible red spot on his cheek. They kept asking him what had happened to him. Told us they thought he was stung. It was crazy. But anyway, I guess it's good that that they're that diligent with their rashes. Guys, I don't know if you can hear the rain. It is pouring down rain outside. We've had so much rain these last few weeks. It's ridiculous. Like, it's crazy. At one point, we had so much rain that our back porch had standing water on the indoor-outdoor, like, carpet stuff, and we thought that our hot tub was leaking. Why does my voice always leave me when I start to do videos? Every single time, guys. Is anybody else stitching? What are you guys stitching on if you're stitching? Sorry. Go ahead and tie off this color. I'm tired of this blue. I've done all this blue, and I'm getting tired of the blue color. I typically try to do one color at a time on this thing all the way through. And I'm just tired of this blue color. So I'm going to jump to another color. Sorry, I'm bumping my camera as I tie off my end. Let me get it to be still. Miss Deb said, poor little man, that sounds hard. Actually, it's not. The case that he had was not as bad as, I mean, it sounds a lot worse than it was. I don't know if other cases are worse. He said the rash didn't hurt or itch or anything. And like I said, he had the random fever. I mean, it only hit like 102 and only lasted like maybe an hour. And then his cold symptoms weren't even enough to really treat with cold medicine. It was more, I thought his allergies were starting back. Wow, that was really country. Sorry, starting back. And then the rash popped up and it was just, he just looked sunburned, but he's promised me that it didn't hurt or itch or anything. So, I mean, I think it's one of those diseases that sound worse than it is. Connie G says that she is working on Horsing Around, the new installment of Christmas on the Farm by LHN, or Little House in the Works. And Miss Deb is working on Guardians of Notre Dame, Sal. I am late to the party, though, still doing the border. That piece looks amazing, Miss Deb. It's by Ingleside Imaginarium, for those of you that may not be familiar with it. And the piece is beautiful, but the back stitch scared me away from that piece. I would love to do it, but the back stitch kind of scared me away from the piece. I didn't want to get caught up in that craziness. Let's see, a big block of one color. That's blue too. There's a lot of blue in this section, so I don't know that think I'm just gonna stick with. Nope, we're gonna go with seafoam green. Sorry, as I find my color. I should be better prepared for these things, huh? You guys don't mind, though. Y'all don't mind the rattly bags and the floss changes, I don't think. I've only got 5 people watching this morning. I'm really excited about the comments, though, being able to be played on the replay. I'm hoping that will work, because if so, if that works that well, it'll make these live videos a lot more pleasing to people who can't watch live. I actually painted my nails for you guys this morning. They don't look great. It's just a random self-paint job because it's not worth it for me to go and get official manicures, because where I work, my hands are constantly being washed. I'm having to constantly use hand sanitizer, and it ruins my hands and my nails. So bad. It's ridiculous. So, to keep you from having to see the sights of my horrible nails, I threw on some paint this morning. I've decided that it's this needle. It is not my threading, it's this needle. There's a burr. And cross stitch Bordoon, I can't, Bordoon says hi from Belgium. And Deb says, I bet you will still be glad to finish this piece, though it has been nice to watch you grow through your videos. Oh, I love, this is not quite the love-hate relationship that I had with with 99 Bottles. I do enjoy stitching this piece. It just always feels like it takes so long to get any progress. And I think sometimes that's what ends up dragging me down with this piece, is that I don't see as much progress. I don't see as much change in it. But picking it back up this year, I have to say I've really enjoyed this piece. After the year hiatus where I didn't touch it at all, and now picking up and stitching on it, I'm really enjoying stitching on it again. What I've been doing too, instead of like stitching on this for solid blocks at a time, every single Friday, this is my Friday stitch piece. So no matter what's going on Fridays, unless I'm working on a gift, I stitch on Starry Night. And I think that helps make me look forward to the piece. I know I have a big day to stitch on it. The southern accent will ruin it. Sorry, I responded without reading the question. Borduren is Dutch for cross stitch, and they said good, and she said good job trying to say it, and my southern roots ruined me trying to say any other language. Oh, it's so bad. But it's me, so I can say bless your heart. And because I am just freshly awake after getting my kid off to school, my accent's probably a lot worse, because it tends to be worse when I'm sleepy. I think it's because I just get lazy and I don't try to properly say things. My dad growing up would say the word fur instead of for. Um, Miss Deb says, asked if I take a picture of my work daily, and then I could flip through and see the progress of it grow as it goes. Anybody, you guys who watch my updates know that I am horrible about being diligent in taking pictures of before and after, and I'm not good at remembering to do that. So I've not taken a picture as I like every single day. I do have pictures as it has grown, but not every single day. It's usually like weeks in advance. It should be easier now that I'm, mainly only working on this on Fridays, but I just forget. I just sit down, start stitching, and forget. Nostalgic Needlework says that my accent sounds perfectly normal to me. I'm glad a fellow Southerner is here. And Cross Stitch Bordrun says that she takes a picture every day and count the stitches, and I salute you for that. Oh, and Miss Connie's here too. That's right. She said it sounds normal to her too. Oh, Miss Connie hears me on a regular basis. Bless her heart. There goes the bless her heart without even thinking about it. She has to. I am lucky enough to live close enough to Miss Connie for us to be able to stitch sometime fairly regularly. We had a slumber party just recently, and so she has to deal with my accent often, and she can tell you how country I get as I get tired, because we were up for almost 24 hours together the other day. But oh, and she's saying I am currently saying, now I won't be able to say it because I'm going to try to Bordurin the correct way. So, hey, I'm learning a new language. I can speak Dutch. One word in Dutch, but hey, better than no words. But as I was saying, growing up, my dad was bad to say fur instead of for. Like kind of F-E-R or F-U-R, fur. I'm going to the store fur. And I would make fun of him. As a snarky teenager loves to make fun of their parents, I made fun of my dad for that. Let me tell you, if I am very, very tired or talking very quickly, yes, Southerners can talk fast when they want to. Sometimes I will come out with fur, and every time I do, my dad points it out to me. Skip one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. But, and then also I'm going to date myself here, age myself, tell you guys how old I am. When I was about 15 or 16, chat became popular. Yes, Nostalgic Needlework says that whenever she says daddy, it usually comes out Diddy. And I have always called my dad Diddy. Even like when I do like when I'm talking to him specifically, it comes out Diddy. Now it's Pop because that's what my son calls him, and it's so confusing to call him Pop or like not, because I'll say Dad and Connor will turn and look at my husband. So I've had to start calling him Pop to keep from confusing my son, and that feels weird sometimes because now I'll say hey dad, and like my husband and my dad both answer. I'm like, okay, that's kind of awkward. I was gonna say I started a story, I've lost my train of thought. Counting here. So we had planned, my son watches some kid on YouTube. I don't know his name. He's some park ranger, and he and his dad, or Diddy, do videos, and they pretend as though they are park rangers in a dinosaur park. And my kid loves it. It's educational. It talks about dinosaurs, and he loves them. And one of the videos, they go to this place called Jurassic Quest. Well, we realized that it was coming to a town. It's Atlanta. It's about 2.5, 3 hours, depending on traffic, away from us. And my husband was able to get off work, and we were going to surprise him and take him to said Jurassic Quest without him knowing it. He knew it was, my son knew it was in town, but we had tried to lie to him and tried to tell him that my husband could not get off work, so we were not going to be able to go, and that we were sorry. We mentioned the other day, though, that if he would, be good in school, that we might have a prize for him at the end of the week. Brushing his teeth this morning, he looked at me, he goes, "Jurassic Quest is my prize, isn't it?" And I'm like, "No." And I'm not good at, I can fib, like a little bit, but I'm not good at lying when directly asked a question. Like, I would never be good as you could never get me to lie for you on the witness stand as much, even if I wanted to be able to. I start grinning like a possum. So there's another Southern saying for you, grinning like a possum. But so he completely guessed his prize, so we had to go ahead and tell him, because I'm not good at at keeping that stuff secret. But so he now knows that we're going to Jurassic Quest, and he is so excited. This thing is supposed to have dinosaur rides and animatronic baby dinosaurs that you can pet. It's supposed to be amazing for the dinosaur lover. I'm hoping it is, because this is one of those things that I'm going for him. Dinosaurs have always freaked me out a little bit. Ever since I watched Jurassic Park as a way too young child, they scared me hardcore, to the fact that anytime they mentioned cloning and DNA research as a kid, I would be terrified that they were going to actually clone a dinosaur, and that we were going to have to deal with these dinosaurs roaming the world again, because that Jurassic Park movie back in elementary school scared me to death. Oh, which reminds me, that reminds me of what I was going to say earlier. When I was a young teen, talking about the Southern accent, voice chat had become the new rave popular thing. And I had some friends that I had chatted on with AOL Instant Messenger. Yeah. Back in the day, in AOL chat rooms. And then Yahoo came out with the voice chat. And one of them convinced me to do this voice chat. And I can remember being not afraid, but it was new back then. You didn't know what all information they would be able to get. So I finally convinced my parents that it would be okay, my dad, that it would be okay for me to do this voice chat, and he gave me permission. And I got on, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to talk, I have a Southern accent, I sound like a hick, I sound country." And the person was like, "No, you're fine, just, just say hey." They were from, say, Canada. And I booted up the mic, got it going. I said, "Hey, can you hear me?" And the first thing that he responded was, "Oh my gosh, you are Southern, aren't you?" I was like, "Great." And one sentence, "Hey, can you hear me?" And he knew that I was from the South. Cross stitch Budurin, I can't say it. I'm going to come up with a different name to call you. Cross Stitch says that she has seen Jurassic World movie 2 days ago. They had create a really big T-Rex for the Raptor and Chameleon so he could disappear. Loved the movie. Oh, the movies are amazing and the graphics are amazing. But they just, I don't know, just they scare me for some reason. I don't know. I should be embarrassed to admit that probably, but dinosaurs scare me. I mean, not dinosaurs themselves because, anyway. The thought of living in a world with dinosaurs scare me. How about that? Well, and then just recently, one of the more recent Jurassic, not the one that you're seeing in previews now, because let me tell you, that preview with the dinosaur coming up on the whatever, the kid or the girl on the bed, terrifies me. My husband thinks it's hilarious because he knows how I am with these Jurassic Park movies, and he always makes me watch that darn preview with that dinosaur, like he's sneaking up on this person in bed, and oh man, they're bringing it to my real world, and that's gonna bother me. I think that one comes from a new one from Jurassic World. But one of the newer Jurassic movies, my husband and son convinced me that my son was old enough to watch these movies. And we sat down to watch, I don't know which one, but all I know within like the first 10 movies, a dinosaur chomped a guy in half. And I turned and looked, and my son's eyes were as big as plates. And I said, that's it. We're turning it off. We're not having that. Stephanie Greer says, hello, good morning, Megan, and everyone else. Good morning, Megan, and everyone. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you? Are you getting to stitch? Are you here to stitch? Or just to laugh at my wonderful Southern accent? So it's raining and about to start but it's raining and about to start stitching today, Stephanie said. And it crossed it said good morning, but it's almost evening where she is. She says Stephanie says she's not planning to go anywhere. No, it's pouring rain here too. Like earlier when I first set up, it was so loud that I was a little worried that you guys weren't going to be able to hear me over the rain. I'm glad that you are able to hear me though, so it finally calmed down a bit, so you're able to hear me, I think. So I do have some questions. Hang on, I have another. Deb says, you know that there will be dinosaurs that roar to scare you. Maybe take some Valium with you. Yeah, I may need. And they're going to be robotic. So they're going to be like right there at me. It's going to be bad. I don't know. That was very good, Deb. That was. And Crossstitch is laughing at Deb's comment about me needing Valium. I think I'll be okay there. Like I'm okay at museums and stuff. And I know that these aren't real. I don't know. It's just that movie as a kid. It terrified me. Like, give me Freddy Krueger and I'm okay. Those movies don't scare me. Jason, those movies don't bother me. Give me a robotic dinosaur and I'm freaking out. I think I've messed up. No, I didn't. I just didn't mark this stitch. When you think you've messed up, but you just forgot to mark a stitch. No, I did mess up. Yay. But, easy fix though. Just 2 stitches. Just not over far enough. Now, speaking of scary movies, guys, like I said, scary movies haven't always really bothered me, except for Jurassic Park. It wasn't supposed to be a horror flick. But then there's a movie here in the States called The Strangers, and they're about to come out with a second movie. But this movie is a movie that could actually happen. They call it a thriller. That movie is the scariest movie I have ever seen. It's not the movie itself. It's just the fact that could probably really happen. It's just essentially these people are breaking a house and they terrorize these people. I don't even say torture as much as just terrorize them by like moving stuff in the house and knowing they're in the house with them, that kind of stuff. And they can't find them. Yeah, that movie. And then they wear masks. I don't like masks. So I did. Caroline mentioned in one of her off the grid videos that she had looked for some YouTube tags and that it was obvious that the tags were for a much younger generation because some of the questions were silly. So I cheated the system. I don't know if it's really called cheated. I kind of cheated the system. I still ended up there. Is that stitch in the wrong place? No, it's not. That's where it's supposed to be. Well, that stinks. I was supposed to stitch these here the whole time. Anyway, I kind of cheated the system, and I went through the tags, and I picked out some questions that I felt were okay for non-youth YouTubers or flosstubers. So I will start those questions if you guys don't care now. So I have 25 random questions. And the first one is, what is your favorite candle? Some of these you will have recognized from Caroline's video because some of them, I think I did end up getting the same tag she had looked at, but she just didn't answer some of the questions. I looked through, got the questions I liked, and then jumped to another tag and got questions from that one that I liked. So what is your favorite candle scent? And I don't have a single favorite candle scent. I am drawn to more clean smells than like floral and perfumey smells. I think that I wear the same thing, like as far as personal cologne and scents go. I tend to go towards more clean scents. The current candle that I have in my stitch room is a vanilla lavender. It's almost a little too strong for me. And a scent that I wear a lot is by Bath and Body Works, and it's white citrus. Again, it's just a very clean, not loud, not perfumey smell. My job, again, is very strict on, oh, hello pattern. Very strict on us wearing a lot of scents because they don't want us to, cause anybody any breathing difficulty or allergic type things. So I started then wearing very light, clean scents. Now, when I was a kid, Plumeria was all the rage. And that's one of the most loud scents that you can get. It smells wonderful, but it's a very, very noticeable scent. But I like more clean scents. Trying to think. I also like but then during the winter I like to baked good scents like apple pie scents or, cookie scents and that kind of stuff. I had I have a candle warmer and I had banana nut bread. And it was almost too strong. I had it burning one day and some friends had come over and they're like, okay, that needs to be turned off now. It's a little overpowering. So I try not to get scents that are very overpowering because I don't want to bother anybody. But then I do want my house to smell clean and fresh. So I'm more of a fresh scent person. Can you do a split? Nope. I've never been able to do a split. And I doubt now in my middle-aged years that I'll be able to learn to do a split. It's ironic though. A coworker the other day was telling me how she had been practicing trying to learn to do splits. And I'm like, why? Why do you want to do a split and she's older than I am. In your 40s. She's like, I've just always wanted to be able to do one, so I've been trying to get to where I can do a split. I was like, okay, you go be you. That's amazing. How old were you when you learned to ride a bike? I was in first grade. A two-wheel bike. Now, I could ride with some training wheels for the longest time. I can say it was probably in May of that year. I know that because my mom had been very sick. So before she was very sick, they were trying to get me to ride the bike without training wheels. And it was not happening. Could not get it down. And then we stayed with my grandmother while my paternal grandmother, while my mom was very sick and in the hospital. And she was actually in a coma for a while. But anyway, I digress. One of my grandmother's neighbor kids had these much smaller bikes that were less intimidating, that if you fell off of them, they were much lower to the ground. I mean, these bikes were tiny. And they were letting me ride one of their bikes, one of those smaller bikes, because they had moved to the bigger bike. And I, oddly enough, without trying, learned to ride the two-wheel bike. And I can remember after my mom had come home, the reason I know when is because after my mom had come home from the hospital, we had again stayed with my paternal grandmother for a while. I purposely, I got her to come to the door and, rode down the road, the apartment street by the door to where she could see me riding my two-wheel bike because I was so proud that I had learned to ride my two-wheel bike. And the next question is, what was your favorite TV? Let me try to start over again. What was your favorite TV show as a child? This one will make us show our ages, which I've already done. I've already showed my age. Favorite current TV show at the time was Full House. I absolutely loved Full House, and I had the biggest crush on Uncle Jesse. Oh, Miss Deb asked about the Jaws movies, if they bothered me. And, oh, if my husband sees this, he's going to freak out. And I have a feeling that I will have a new movie on our list. But I have never seen any of the Jaws movies. My husband makes fun of all the movies that I have not seen. And he has claimed he's going to make a list of movies that he is going to make me watch with him. We have been together now we started dating when I was 17. I'm not going to tell you how many years because I'll tell you exactly how many years, but I can say it's all over a decade, and it still amazes him whenever he finds out that there are movies that I haven't seen. He's like, really? How have you not seen? How have we been together and you not seen that movie? So he told me just last night that he was going to start a list of movies that I was going to have to watch with him. And now I have a feeling that Jaws is going to be added to that list of movies that I have to watch. Cross Stitch says, I don't love the Killer Bee movies. Do you? Too real for me. I've never seen the Killer Bee movies. I did see Alfred Hitchcock's Birds. My mom made me watch that movie. And at the time, I could walk home from school. And it was during the time of year that the birds were migrating. So sure enough, the next day I'm walking and all these black birds are flying over, and I was convinced that they were going to take me away. But yeah, Birds was, I think that's kind of along the lines of the Killer Bee movies. Yes, that one too. Yes, I've seen that one too. And when I see too many birds together, it scares her. Yeah, that one was an interesting movie. All of Alfred Hitchcock movies were kind of strange. So, Full House was my very, very favorite TV show as a young kid. I can remember it came on Thank God. It was called TGIF, which stood for Thank God It's Friday. And they were a series of shows that they would show every Friday night. It was like, I want to say like Step by Step and Full House and Family Matters were the movies that played, or the shows that played on Friday nights. And I loved that. I also loved I Love Lucy, even though that was before my time. And, I say that because it was black and white, and I was watching it as a kid on Nick at Night. The scary thing is back when I was a child, Nick at Night was for the older TV shows, the nostalgic TV shows. And now the TV shows that I grew up on are showing on Nick at Night. And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm officially getting old. Because my movies are on, on Nick at Night. Hang on, my husband's calling. Deb says that she hasn't seen Jaws either. The advertisement was bad enough for me. I do not do scary. I'm allergic to adrenaline, she thinks. And then Cross Stitch says, do you know the Children of the Corn? That scary stuff. I'm familiar with the movie. I've never seen Children of the Corn. Never seen Children of the Corn. I'm about to have to start another thread. No, I'm not. I just started another thread. I'm good. And then as a teenager, I loved Seventh Heaven. That was another show that I liked as a teenager. What is your favorite Halloween costume that you had as a child? So instead of what did you dress up at 8, which is one of the questions that Caroline had, mine was was your favorite Halloween costume as a child? Deb says that she loved Nick at Night, but it's no longer on in Australia now. And Stephanie says her favorite show was Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Oh my gosh, yes, I forgot about that one, Stephanie. I would come home after school and watch Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. And then did you ever watch Hercules? Was it Hercules with, the dude with the long, like, Fabio hair? The light burn. What was his name? Oh, I can't think of his name to save my life. I can see him. And Cross Stitch said that, yes, she loved Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, as well. What was the guy that was in Hercules? Oh, I can't place his name. She loved Sully. Deb said they love Sully. Kevin Sorbo. Yes, Connie. Kevin Sorbo. I used to come home from school and watch Kevin Sorbo in Hercules. And I cannot tell you anything about the show other than that it had some bad acting. But it had Kevin Sorbo in it. And Deb said that she likes to watch Call the Midwife. Okay, see, I thought Call the Midwife was a newer show. Maybe it's just that it's in syndication on Netflix, because people have told me that if I liked Downton Abbey that I would enjoy Call the Midwife, and I was under the impression it was a newer show. Is it not a newer show? Is it an older show? Not older, but not a current show. How about that? Let's not use the word old in this conversation at all. I'm not going to make it through all my questions, which is a good thing. I enjoy that. We're having a good conversation. That's why I enjoy doing these live videos, because I get to interact with you guys. It's not an older movie. It's about the 60s and the midwives. 8th season, I think. Great show. Okay, long time Stitcher. Carl Stitch has confirmed that it is kind of a newer show. It's in its 8th season. 6th season. And it is about the 60s and the midwives. Okay. So I do midwives in Belgium. So I do need to look into that. That does sound very interesting. Of course, my husband and I not binge watch. We have kept up with The Walking Dead. Now, see, zombies don't bother me. I can watch zombies all day long and not think twice about it. Give me dinosaurs and I freak out. So as long as there's a zombie apocalypse and not a Jurassic period apocalypse, I'll be okay. Okay, they said that Cross Stitch said that she looked on Wikipedia and that it says that there are 6 seasons. But it could be 8. But it is a more current show. And Cross Stitch says that she loves The Walking Dead. So besides watching The Walking Dead, we also binge watch random things on Netflix. And lately we've been watching Godless on Netflix. It's a Western movie about a town of just women. Connie said that she watched the first episode of The Walking Dead and that she is still traumatized. Oh, it's very graphic. Very, very graphic. But it's good. I'm kind of frustrated with, so it traumatized you like Jurassic Park did for me as a child. I'm a little frustrated. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law and all, we were all talking recently. And the focus isn't really the zombies anymore. They're not even really afraid of the zombies anymore as much as they are having to be afraid of each other, the other survivors. And it's just, I don't know. It's not been as, it feels like it's changed. So, Stephanie said I have quit watching Walking Dead 3 different times. It has haunted me different times, but I always start again because my husband won't stop watching it. I was in labor the day that and Longtime Stitcher, spoiler alert, Longtime Stitcher said that she hasn't been able to watch it since Glenn was killed off the show. When I was at the hospital in labor, we were sitting there watching The Walking Dead. And the doctor walked in and kind of commented on me me watching The Walking Dead in labor. And Stephanie said the tiger getting killed was what made it horrible for her. And yes, but I knew from the first time they showed the tiger that he was going to end up going, but I knew that he would go protecting the king. There is a sentence I never thought I would say, that the tiger was going to go with zombies protecting the king. But like at this point, I have to say, I don't know that if the show is what it is now, if it was what it is now in the beginning, that I would have watched it. I feel like I have put, 8 years of my life into the show. So I have to kind of finish it out and see what happens and see where they're going to go with it. But if it started out the way it is now, I don't think, or if I was just getting it, like if I turned on and turned into one of the current episodes, I don't know that I would stick with the show, if that makes any sense at all. I liked what it was before. I am invested in some of the characters, and I want to see how it ends. Not this last show, but this show before that, I cried. Not even as much as the character that they lost, but just the relationship of some of the character, the people that bothered me. I feel like they are dragging out this Negan thing. I think something needs to happen to Negan. He either needs to be, I don't know, something needs to happen with Negan. I had a friend say that she went back and watched Grey's Anatomy just to where she could see, and I'm horrible with true actor names, but Negan's character played in Grey's Anatomy and he died, didn't he? What is fun when it isn't about The Walking Dead? Cross Stitch says, what is the fun when it isn't about The Walking Dead? I only see series 1, sadly enough. So, yeah, it is about the zombies, but they're not the main focus anymore. Now it's about how, and I guess it's the truth of how things would be, or it's not only having to survive the zombies, but having to survive the other survivors, which I guess that's how it would be. I mean, people are horrible in general, much less during an apocalypse. Have I seen The Good Doctor, a new one here in Belgium? I've not seen The Good Doctor. Wait, I've not seen it, but that's the new show this year where it's a young kid who has, is that the one where he has autism, but he's an amazing surgeon or doctor or whatever? Cross Stitch says she wants to see The Walking Dead future. Yeah, I think it's going through kind of a bit of a growth. I'm hoping it will return to itself soon. He is good indeed. He has autism, but it's an amazing show. Yeah, I like that they are. Autism seems to get a lot of negative press, and I'm glad they are finally giving it the showing that it's. That's a soapbox that I don't need to get on. They just seem to show it in a bad light a lot of the time in the press, and I'm glad they are showing it in a non-negative light, because it's not a negative. Anyway, that's a whole other soapbox. That's a nursing soapbox that I will choose to stay off of. What language besides your native language would you like to be fluent in? Non-Southern English? No. Fluent in. I'm going to say American Sign Language. And I know that's still, because it's American, it's still, native to this country, but I really wish I could speak. I wish I was able to communicate with sign language better. You must see it. Oop, I'm losing connection. Am I still here, guys? You must see it. He's, Cross Stitch says Dutch. It's popping up saying that I have bad connection. Can you guys hear me? Okay, it's stopped now. I don't know if I am still live or not. Yep, I'm still there. Okay, y'all can still hear me. this room drops internet from time to time, so I have to be careful. But I think American Sign Language would be a language that I would want to be fluent in. If not that, probably Spanish would be my next. And that's just because of where I work. I think that would benefit me where I work. Both of those would benefit me where I work. Do I prefer to be too hot or too cold? Any day, I would rather be cold than hot. I keep my house very cold. I cannot stand to be hot. I cannot stand to sweat. I am not an outdoor girl. I chose to work in a hospital to where I wouldn't have to sweat. So definitely anytime, without a doubt, I would rather be too cold than too hot. I can always put clothes on. I can only legally and ethically take so many clothes off. I stitched one too many stitch here. I've had a frog some this video. That's because I'm enjoying talking to you guys, so that's a good thing. I don't know that this will be the best one to stitch and talk with. When I was pregnant throughout the summer, and I was at work one day, and one of the girls was cold, and she had the heat on. Okay, we are in Georgia. It was August, and she had the heat on in the hospital. I came out of a room, and I told her, I said, it is hot. I am sweating. And if you don't turn down the heat, I'm going to start stripping, and you don't want to see this naked. I came out, she had a jacket on, the air conditioner was on. I was very glad. Ironically enough, later on when she was pregnant, she burnt up the whole time and she apologized to me. Betty Hankins says that she was raised with signing. Her maternal grandparents were both deaf. They had one of 9 children deaf. And then longtime stitchers asking if Betty's grandmother is still alive. I'm hoping that the actual live chat works on the replay, and if it does, I won't have to always read your guys' comments, and that'll make doing live videos easier as well. But yeah, I would rather be too cold any day. You can ask Connie, who stitches here at times. I keep my house cold. Like, you could probably almost hang me. We keep it at 68 in the winter, and we try to keep it at 68 in the summer, but usually we have to go about 70 because it's just too hot here to keep it. The air conditioner would run constantly to keep it 70 and 68 in the house in the summer. She's still alive. Nope, the nurse with the heat on. Oh. They said the nurse with the heat on, she would have killed the nurse with the heat on in the summer. Connie said, yep, I wear a jacket in May's house, and I am pretty hot-natured myself. Yeah, it stays cold. And then it says, do you sleep with the light on or in complete darkness? Do you have ambient noise or complete silence? It has to be completely dark for me to be able to sleep. I have to have a fan on. All year long, we have a fan that we run, even if we run pointed at the wall, because I have to have the sound of the fan. And again, I can't be hot. If I'm hot, I can't sleep. I have to be cold to be able to sleep. But the funny thing is I'm cold, but then I bundle up in blankets. So it's odd. It's a comfort thing. So I definitely have some kind of ambient noise going. And then, would you rather live in a big city or a small town? I've always called the city that I live in a small town. But then I've kind of found out that it's not as small as I thought it was. It's rural. I've never been able to say that word. R's were a problem with me as a child. I had a speech impediment, and I still have issues with some words that have R's in them. Rural. 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 I can't say it. area. I don't want to be in a big city with the crazy traffic, and the constant. You couldn't pay me to live in a big city like that, like in Atlanta, where you have to get on the interstate to get anywhere, and there's constant traffic and constant gridlock and that kind of thing. You could not pay me. So I'd rather live in a small town. I just wish my small town had more stuff. I want to live in a small town that's close enough to a big city. Oh my gosh, you scared me. My husband just opened up the door. I had no clue he was at home. I thought it was a dinosaur. Yes, I'm live. Say hello.
Hello.
But anyway, where was I at? I want to live in a small town or rural town. Hey, I said it. I think it is us redheads that really do not like the heat. My temper rises with the temperature. Yes. Yes, if it is hot, I am ill. It makes me angry. But I'd rather live in a small town that's close enough to a big city to where I can go and use the perks of the big city. Love to have a home in the forest with my vegetables and animals, and of course my stitching. The town that I live in, you could easily have that. It's got a lot of farms in it, so you should just come live near us. What is the last song that you had stuck in your head? Haha, this one is evil because the song will get stuck in your head again. And it was not really a song. I'm not going to sing it. Okay, true song that I had stuck in my head was Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. The other night at work, though, for whatever reason, somebody was talking about the movie Con Air. And there is a scene in the movie where John Malkovich, I think, is the main criminal on that movie, kind of sings songs, a quote, that nothing makes me sadder than the agent lost his bladder on the airplane, and he kind of songs it, and that was stuck in my head. Stuck in my head. She said that would be wonderful to live near us, but that she couldn't speak the language. Apparently, I can't speak the language either, so you'll be fine. We'll get through it. we'll work through it together. But yeah, the last song that was truly stuck in my head was Eleanor Rigby. Poor Connie had to listen to that. She was here for that. That was stuck in my head for at least a week. And now it's going to be stuck again. And then at work, that quote from Con Air was sing song stuck in my head. What is the last movie that you saw in theater, and would you pay to see it again? Unya, y'all, these names, says that she's glad to see me live. Or she just realized that I was live. I saw Peter Rabbit with my son, and yes, without a doubt, I would go and see Peter Rabbit again. It was a cute movie. It had a lot of, I don't want to say adult humor, but like, there were things that made the adults laugh that kids laughed at too, but they didn't understand why they were laughing at it. And I really enjoyed it, but I've always loved Peter Rabbit. Cross Stitch said that the last movie she saw was Jumanji, and I've gone back and forth. I love the original Jumanji with Robin Williams, and my love for Robin Williams made me say that I wouldn't go see the remake, but I have heard a lot of positive things about the remake. And you don't always hear positive things about remakes, so I kind of want to try to see it now. But Robin Williams in Jumanji was amazing. Robin Williams was one of my favorite actors. He just dedicated his longtime Stitcher just said that she saw my favorite, Jurassic Park, with a live orchestra, which would be amazing because the music in Jurassic Park was amazing. Was very amazing. I don't think they terrify. I don't know. Just that new. I thought I had gotten over the Jurassic Park fear, but that new trailer is rough. And then the strangers pray at night. Yeah, that trailer's rough too. But yes, I would definitely see Peter Rabbit again. What was your childhood nickname? My childhood nickname from my parents and stuff was May or May May. My dad actually used to call me Maybelline. Dwayne Johnson, drool, drool, you must watch it. It's fab, Magdalena says. So, okay, if you guys say it's good, I'll give it a chance. We may have to go see it. But now I don't want to scare my son. It's because the first one was kind of scary for kids. Is it as scary, kind of traumatic as the first one? Like, is it one that my son could see without making him scared of a movie into his adult life like I am? But my dad called me Maybelline until about my teenage years, and then he stopped because he didn't want people to think that was related to the Maybelline makeup thing. My son is 6. I think it might be a little too powerful for him because some of those scenes in the old one were pretty scary. I mean, not scary. That one didn't scare me as a child, oddly enough. But that some of those scenes were intense. But once I hit my teenage years, my dad stopped calling me Maybelline because he didn't want it to be associated with the makeup, like, and people to think that he was making fun of me for some reason. And it got shortened to May or May May. My niece and nephew call me Aunt May May. So 12-year-old sister, and she found it good. But 6 is young. Yeah, I thought 6 would be a little too young. It may be a movie that my husband and I have to watch, later. But the sound effects could scare him, so skip it for his sake. Yeah, and loud noises bother him, so. So that's why I ended up stitching May came from, because I stitched and my nickname was May, so. Which way do you face in the shower? Back to the water or face to the water? I am typically a bath girl, but back to the water. I can't stand water splashing in my face, so definitely back to the water. Do you have any nervous habits? Nervous habits. When I'm talking and I'm nervous about what I'm saying or who I'm talking to, or kind of a habit I don't realize, I say, do you know what I mean? Or do you see what I'm saying a lot? I pick my nails or bite my nails, which is horrible. I try not to so much now because I work in the healthcare field. Have a good day off stitching. Everyone got a scoot. Thank you, May. Thank you for watching, Miss Betty. Hope you have a good day as well. And I click my pen. That's what I do. If my pen has a clicker on it, I click my pen so much the other day that my cousin, I was keeping score while we were playing cards, and I was clicking my pen, and he turned and said, "Who gave her a pen with a with a clicker on it?" Because I'll sit there and click the pen away, and not even realize I'm doing it. Which side of the bed do you sleep on? So if you are looking at the bed, I sleep on the right side of the bed. If you're lying in the bed, I'm on the left side of the bed. I have to be. And I hug the edge and like halfway hang off the side. Did you have a favorite stuffed animal as a child, and what was its name? I had a huge panda bear that I loved. That was a gift from my godfather. But then in middle school, my mom gave me a teddy bear that I had given her once when she was in the hospital. And that one, like, she had kind of regifted it to me. And that one became one of my favorite stuffed animals. But I didn't have one that I just took everywhere with me. I had so many stuff. Like, I had two of those stuffed animal hammocks that were filled with stuffed animals. Like, I didn't have a specific stuffed animal that I took everywhere with me. I remember having a stuffed unicorn. I had Teddy Ruxpin. Are you afraid of heights? No, I'm not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of falling from heights, though. It's the sudden stop that bothers me. So, like, I can ride roller coasters, I can ride Ferris wheels, I can be at heights. I just can't look over the edge of heights. And, so, like, I don't like if we go on a lookout, I'm fine looking out over the heights, but I can't go to the edge of the lookout and look down, if that makes sense. Or I can ride a roller coaster, but I can't look down from the height. I can't climb a ladder because I have to look down to climb a ladder. So that's kind of a yes and no question. I guess it's more of a yes then. What was your favorite book you were assigned to read in school? High school, that would definitely be Pride and Prejudice. We were supposed to have certain amounts of the book read by certain times, and I was always ahead on that book. I don't know why that book just seemed to stick with me. And then in elementary school, probably Black Beauty. I loved that book as well. We had accelerated reader test. We had to read so many books and get so many points and that kind of stuff, and that was one of the books we had to read. And I absolutely love Black Beauty. But Pride and Prejudice was one of my favorite books in high school. But oddly enough, I'm not one that can read books over and over again. So I've never read it again. Like, once I read a book, I'm done. I can't reread books because I know what's going to happen. So I've only read it once, but I absolutely loved that book. I loved the wit in it, her dry sense of humor. I loved that dry sense of humor. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? Cookies and cream. Without a doubt, cookies and cream. Susie said, "Hi, May. Good morning, all." And she said, "Teaching Teddy way to go." What was your first job? Deb said, "Good morning, good night, everyone. Just finished her boarder. It is now 2:20 a.m. and had to be up for work at 7. Lovely chatting with you all. Sleep well, Miss Deb." My first job was I was a waitress in a local restaurant for about 2 months. That was my very first job, and it didn't last very long. I did not do well as a waitress. But then after that, I was a cashier at a grocery store, and that's actually where my husband and I met. He laughingly tells everybody that he met his wife on the pickle aisle. But yeah, I worked as a cashier all through high school and through nursing school. So I was a cashier. Do you have a lucky number? Yes. Number 4 is my lucky number. Various things have happened on dates that start with the number 4. My son was born on the 4th. My husband and I were married on the 4th. We started dating on the 4th. And just randomly other things have happened and the number 4 has been involved. So number 4 is my lucky number. Do you have a funny busted by your parents moment from your childhood that you are comfortable with sharing? Let's see. I was one of those kids that my biggest issue was a smart aleck mouth. I had a smart aleck mouth, hardcore. I always had a smart mouth, and an attitude, and a temper. Blame it on the red hair. But I was always where I told my parents I would be. They always made it so that being caught sneaking out or not where I was, like if they had told me not to go somewhere and I went anyway, the punishment of doing so would have always been much worse than the fun of going. So I was typically always where I said I would be with my parents. However, a funny busted story would be when I was about 13, a friend had spent the night and we did not have any snack food. We decided that our 14-year-old selves were going to drive my mom's car to the store with no money to get said snacks and no license. Neither one of us really wanted to go. We continued to bluff each other and say, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. We eventually got outside and onto my front sidewalk. Did not even make it into the driveway before we both chickened out. Stop spreading these lies about us redheads. We do not, I repeat, we do not have tempers, she says in all caps, screaming voice. So we both got scared and decided that we weren't, like I said, we didn't even make it to the driveway. We both got scared and walked back into the house to immediately walk in to face my very upset mother, who, like I said, they made the punishment much worse than any benefit was. I was grounded for 3 weeks for walking out of the house in the middle of the night when I wasn't supposed to be outside, despite the fact that I did not even get off my front sidewalk. So needless to say, I never snuck out again. That one rebel moment of walking out to my front sidewalk, pretending like I was going to joyride in the car to get snacks, was my only rebellion. So there's my funny story. My life of crime was very short-lived. And I behaved after that. And as far as the redheaded temper, I say I don't have a redheaded temper. I don't know if my husband's listening. He may come in and tell you that that's different. My issue with my temper is that I'm not quick-tempered. It takes a lot to make me angry and make me mad. But once I'm angry and mad, I'm all out angry and mad. And if I'm ever crying angry, you're not going to get anywhere with me. I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm angry. And at that point, I'm not listening to you. And it doesn't matter if you're right and you're telling me, at that point, I'm not hearing you. So you might as well not waste your breath. But once I'm mad. But it takes a lot to make me mad. My husband would probably tell you he can make me mad in 2 seconds, though. So, do you prefer sunrise or sunset? Sunset, because I'm a night owl. Sunrise is way too early for me. Susie says, "Amen, my ginger sister." However, I probably see more sunrises because I'm up until the sunrise. That's my bedtime. Sunrise is my bedtime. But I really like sunrises. I think they're just serene and relaxing. And it's like a sunrise is the start of the day and the start of the new beginning. But the sunrise kind of gives you the benefit of knowing that this can start. Like if you've had a bad day, it can start over and there'll be something new tomorrow. So, are you wearing socks right now? See, I told you these were random questions. Yes, I have on fuzzy socks. Fuzzy socks with grippers because my feet are constantly cold. Constantly feel cold. I am forever, when we sit on the couch, I will stick my feet under my husband's leg to warm my toes because they're always cold, which got me in trouble one time because a friend and his girlfriend were over and we were watching a movie. And my husband and my friend had gotten up and they decided to trade seats without telling me. And my friend sat down where my husband had been sitting just to see what I would do. And without even looking, I reached up and stuck my feet under his thigh, under his butt, and continued to watch the movie. And I sat there a good 10 minutes before my husband walked into the room. And I looked up and realized that my feet were not under my husband's bottom. They were under friend's bottom, and I immediately turned and realized he was there, pulled my feet back and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." but my feet are constantly cold. And number 25, do you remember your dreams when you wake up? And most of the time, yes. Most of the time, my dreams are crazily vivid. And I do dream in color sometimes. I think I dream in color at least. I remember them in color. How about that? Who knows? I may fill in the color when I wake up and am remembering the dream. But yes, I remember most of my dreams. I can think of some of the dreams now. They're not always good. I mean, like, they're not nightmares, but, they're just crazy dreams that don't always make sense. Like, they're so disjointed. But I have had dreams that my husband has made me angry in the dream, and I wake up still angry at my husband because gingers don't have tempers. And it takes me a little while to remember that it was just a dream and that whatever happened in the dream did not in fact happen in real life, and then I need to not be angry at him. So that is all of the questions. This video is now 1 hour and 20 minutes long, so I will be signing off. I haven't stitched that much, just this, let's see. Oh, am I even on the camera? Can you even see what I'm stitching anymore? Nope. There we are. I've stitched all of the screen through here, about 25, 30 stitches. I don't know that Starry Night will be the one that I stitch on anymore for this. Chris says, Starry Night, damn girl, I wish I could stitch instead of going to bed. I know, right? People talk about coming in from their work day and stitching to relax. After working night shift for 12 hours, there's no stitching when I come home. I may not crash, but I veg. I'll sit and watch maybe some floss tube, but I don't have the mental capacity to stitch anymore after I get off work. I'm done. My mind's done, and there's no stitching to relax after work for me. But yeah, I'm working with Starry Night, and I cheated, and I'm not going. I just woke up. I'm flipped to the day shift, Chris. But about 25 stitches. I don't know. I'll look and see. Maybe next time I'll highlight the stitches that I'm gonna stitch on this before I video and stitch. But I know that Friday is my Starry Night day, and I thought that maybe, and my husband suggested I would get more progress done if I stitched on these and chatted with you guys. So this may be my live Stitch With Me video or piece. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope the replay comments work like YouTube says it's going to work. And if so, then I won't have to read off all these comments to you guys for the future videos. And thanks for watching, and you guys take care and happy stitching. Sherry says, first time I've been able to tune into a live floss tube. So glad it was you. Oh, thank you, Sherry. And I'm so glad you were able to join me. I'm gonna, like I said, gonna hit different time zones. That way other people can enjoy the stitching or enjoy the live videos. You guys take care. If you get to stitch today, I hope you have a wonderful stitchy day and the frog stays away. If you're not getting to stitch today, I hope you have a wonderful, safe day. Y'all take care. Yes, every stitch is definitely made is one. So one stitch at a time is how you get through it, right? Y'all take care. Yes, I'm a trader, Chris. I'm awake on the day shift. And Magdalene says, hang on, I have my phone to where I can read some of these comments as they disappear. Magdalene said, thank you. Until next time, P.S. I love the live feed. Yeah, I enjoy doing the live videos too, and I'm still going to do my update video, so you guys will still get a monthly update. I know I missed last month, but I will be doing a monthly update probably next week, so that way I can still do the live videos this way, but then I can do the update videos for those that don't enjoy the live videos. And Simunya says, have a nice time stitching, everyone. You guys take care. I'm going to sign off this time. Y'all have a great day. How do I stop?